Izetta the Last Witch. Something a lot of you on this channel probably have witnessed me talk about how disappointing and bad this anime was back in the day. Sadly, you can't watch those videos anymore, thanks to YouTube's copyright system.
I'm all for women riding sniper rifles.
But after hitting the random button on Crunchyroll's site, it gave me the opportunity to talk about this anime one last time. And going forward, this will be a series where at the end of every month, I will hit the random button on Crunchyroll, watch the anime, and then review the anime itself. As for the name, stick to the end of the video to see how I'm deciding the name for the series. Hint, it involves you, the viewer. With that being said, let's review Izetta the Last Witch. So first off, Izetta the Last Witch is essentially set in this sorta alt-World War setting where the obvious countries and continents are renamed in very obvious ways. An example of this is Germania. This is something we've seen used a lot in Japanese alt-war anime and video games, and because of this, Izetta the Last Witch feels largely unoriginal and downright underachieves when it has the option to do something different with the genre. And don't get me wrong here, it's not like they don't try to give that perception. In fact, they try quite a bit to give the perception, but all of it is really surface level stuff. Under the surface, we have a show though that's just plain uninteresting. Along with its boring setting, we have quite possibly the most generic and boring dialogue in a mainstream anime to this day. Even worse than, say, Fairy Gone, which is essentially the same anime as Izetta, but instead of Yuri as the leverage change here, it's JoJo Part 3 stands. But a lot of those dialogue heavy scenes aren't even with Izetta and Saber. It's the politics heavy scene between all of these warring nations and war rooms just blabbing on.
Volga is nothing. We'll turn all of Europe into Germanian territory. Then we'll cross the ocean for the final battle with the United States of Atlanta.
The dialogue isn't interesting here, not because it's not interesting, but the viewer has no reason to care because the world had a really weak setup. Take probably the best alt-war Japanese series of all time, Valkyria Chronicles. We know from the very beginning what every major faction's motivations are, and there are clear boundaries set by both with a plethora of characters who help embody the goals of the factions. What is Izetta's motivation in all of this? What are the factions' motivations in all of this? Well, for Izetta herself, it's to keep Saber safe, and also she loves her. That's essentially it, and hey, that's not a bad thing if you can believe it, but the way it's executed is downright terrible. Izetta becomes a one-girl killing machine that can whip trains around and use spears as indestructible weapons of mass destruction. She is entirely unrelatable, and her goals, while not being bad in theory and execution, are some of the worst ways to develop such goals and motivations. Izetta, because of this, is two-dimensional at best. She seems more like a hollow marketing ploy of, oh hey, cute redhead causing explosions, watch our anime. It's poor at best when it comes to Izetta. And that's a shame because honestly, at first at least, I really wanted to like Izetta the person. I like the idea of her being the last of her kind, the dying breed of the witch, but she's not. There's still other witches who, by the way, show up randomly because, hey, this shit is 12 episodes, we gotta wrap it up, so here's the main villain thrown in. And that's another issue with the series itself, is how it just abruptly cuts to certain things without any explanation or build-up. An example of this is Izetta smacking Saber. And yes, if you notice, I am calling her Saber on purpose. Every blonde woman to me is now Saber. And the face just randomly, but why? Oh, because we need conflict to get Izetta to bring Saber out on her gun to the tippy top of a mountain so that they can rather obviously smash most righteously on top of the mountain. Which I must say, I want to do that. I want to smash on top of a mountain too. Don't leave me out of this. Joking aside, this is a huge issue. This episode, it happened in, was an absolute mess of writing and pacing because why is this happening in the first place? Yes, it's well established Izetta likes Saber, but at no point during this series does it ever feel like anything other than the most unnatural and forced relationship of its kind. This, my friends, is essentially Yuri bait. And let me tell you, I've seen Citrus. Hell, I've read Citrus. My full thoughts on the manga are on my second channel called Bento. And I also read and watched Bloom Into You and just tons of other Yuri stuff. I like Yuri, okay? I'm a basic white guy. I get it. But what I don't like is Yuri, rather just anything, that's soulless and churned out, probably, by a soulless committee. This is what Izetta the Last Witch always feels like, though. It's never original, it's never fresh, it's never truly good. It's just a soulless husk of what could have been. And you know what? That isn't surprising. In 2016, this anime was pushed hard by Crunchyroll's social media sites. Why? Well, because it had really good marketing materials that made a lot of people think this would be a really awesome anime with great visuals, fights, and spectacles. I mean, the marketing for this anime was essentially cute redhead blowing everything the hell up. And I'm sorry, but that's badass. Not only that, but you have Yuri, and that got lots and lots of people to turn their heads towards the anime. I mean, who doesn't love Yuri? Or Yaoi? I mean, they're both great. Admittedly, it was different in 2016, though. This was before the Fairy Gons and the other generic alt-war anime. And if you even for a second followed Crunchyroll in the year 2016, you got blasted with Izetta the Last Witch advertisements. Really, to put it simply, it had in-your-face marketing with a somewhat intriguing look to it. Its marketing was kind of good. But this anime quickly, and I mean it, quickly becoming very apparent what it really was. The marketing may have gotten it in the door, but the people who sat down to see what it was about quickly realized what was going on with this anime. The soullessness of this anime shined through the brightest, and at no point did it ever give the viewer a reason to stay. And for good reason. I mentioned earlier, one of my expectations was the spectacle and fighting of this anime. I wanted this anime pretty much to be a AAA blockbuster action anime with great animation or at least good fights and choreography, or even then, at least something that will dazzle the eye. But this anime, my god, it's so generic and middle of the road in every way. The fights in this anime never look good, and they're always clunky or feature Gimba Berserk 2016 styled animation. Take pretty much every kind of transport in this anime. Planes, trains, automobiles, John Candy, they're all just the most generic, most baseline quality for CGI. Their use never looks good or even really tries to look real. Let's take one of the most ridiculous scenes I've seen in anime, and that ain't no make-believe. Izetta literally uses a whole train as a whip to try and defeat the other witch. Not only is this just so out of the realm of believability, the mere thought of this sends my head into a fever like no other. The first thing, the most obvious thought is these trains would simply all crumble and fall apart. The force required to do this would simply render the train destroyed upon recognition. Logic here is simply thrown out the window with these fights, and yeah, I get it. I get it. It's an anime about witches, but keep with me here. But it's done in such a way that makes it look stupid and so uncreative. And listen, I'm a fan of the Fate series. I know that Berserker piloting a jet was dumb, but you don't ever see me saying that it was so dumb that it was unbelievable or illogical. No. Why? Because within the construct of Fate's universe, that shit could obviously happen. Much like how in the world of DBZ, Piccolo destroys the moon and everything's good. Those plot points are perfectly fine because they meet our expectations of the series. Izetta's expectations were never predefined. They are, to put it simply, all over the place. I don't know what to expect, and rather jokingly in my mind, I expect them to just try and destroy the world with death balls since, well, there are no limits to their power. Well, guess the fuck what? It actually happened, and I'm not making this up. Izetta gets the idea to create a death ball so big that it uses up every single bit of magic so that witches will never exist and will essentially become a thing of legend. I have no idea how that works. I guess magic is a resource that can run out, so yeah, the more you know. But how does she start creating it? Well, she rips a radio tower in half and then somehow just turns it into a death ball. This is basically taking the train whip and upgrading that bitch to Spider-Man 2. Except Spider-Man 2 is good, and who could forget the Spider-Man fought on the PS3? That was crazy. Anyways, you get the point! This whole thing is so arbitrary and surface level without ever explaining why. Just why? Oh wait, sorry, no, they do give a reason, and what is the reason, you may ask? Ha! Glad you asked. It's so that people won't be able to use the magics. This is dumb. I shall tell you why this is dumb. They have literal fucking magic. They can use the magic to, I don't know, progress humanity. Hey, at some point shit's gonna get real. They're gonna need to colonize space, which, you know, I mean, don't you just wish we had some kind of literal fucking magic? Oh wait, no, some redhead who rides a fucking gun used it all up for reasons. Yeah, we're fucked. We're fucked. Yeah, no, fuck that. The logic is dumb. It's basically the whole guns kill people thing, but instead of guns, it's literal fucking magic. You know, literal fucking magic. Rules, laws, and regulation on magic be damn. We can't have that. We can't have something everybody wishes they had. We can't simply just make sure it's not used for evil. We can't do that. We have to make sure nobody can ever use it ever. It's just dumb. It's really shallow and extremely arbitrary. And hey, let's move on from this stuff. Let's talk about Saber because I'm about to pop a casket. Saber or Archduchess or something or the other is basically generic pro-tag. Kind of like Kirito. Nothing good comes from this character. Nothing ever will. She basically enables this unstoppable killing machine Izetta to topple over her opponents and commit mass murder sprees all in the name of peace. And she really makes Izetta look like a more interesting character, honestly, because her dialogue is so bad.
Magic will vanish from the planet. It will become a thing of the past, of legend, just like the accursed bomb and horrific deeds you've scarred this land with. Without your weapons, will the Germanian Empire still dare to think of itself as rulers of the entire world?
It's just good guy stuff. The most tired ass shit we've already seen a billion times. And the thing is, it's not even funny or entertaining. It's just not fun to listen to her say the words she says. It feels arbitrary, feels forced, and I'm almost 1000% certain they are trying to give Asuna Yuki, I just brought up SAO again, a run for her money, and not only trying to be an imitation, but also in uselessness. I swear to God, I wouldn't be surprised if I got so bored I blacked out and forgot that she was captured by someone or gave a rousing speech as a fuck yeah America moment or something. This anime sucks. This anime just plain sucks. Almost feel ripped off by this anime, and I only paid $6 to watch this on Crunchyroll. And I'm sorry, I really am. I don't want to shit on anime. I really don't. Some of you may find this entertaining, but how did this ever get greenlit? How did this ever make it past a rough draft? People actually slaved away to make this. Spent time away from their families to animate this and produce this anime, and what for? Nobody ever talks about this anime anymore. Oh my god. I forgot to talk about the ending. Sorry for interrupting the outro there, but holy crap, the ending is so fucking terrible. This whole ending is like, hey, Izetta is about to sacrifice herself for the greater good, even though we just, went over how selfish and idiotic her motives are. So at the end, she gives this raving rah-rah speech like, we did it! We've saved everyone! The war is ending and it's all was because we destroyed literal fucking magic, aren't we the best? And then at the end, Saber goes to a house. And Izetta is alive! Granted, we don't see her face, but we see her red hair, and I also just noticed her skin has a little bit of a red tint to it. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, she's alive, you guys! We did it! We saved Izetta, our hero, the one who destroyed literal fucking magic, could have cured cancer, but at a value of a fool that would be cleaner than fossil. Oh, fuck this anime. I can't even. This isn't good. No. Izetta the Last Witch was like Fairy Gone before Fairy Gone existed. And I think Fairy Gone is probably way better than this. I've seen 80s and 90s OVA with something more to say in 10 minutes than this anime said in fucking 12 episodes. And you know what? I'm just gonna go all fucking in and say it. Izetta the Last Witch doesn't even deserve its own existence. I don't even know what that means, but fuck it. This anime is so vapid and a massive nothing burger that, hey, might as well make a statement, something this anime couldn't obviously do in 12 episodes. But, hey, if you remember at the beginning of this video, before I went scorched earth on this anime, I talked about a name for the series. Now, I originally had a named pinned for this series, but I decided to leave it up to you guys. Just leave some suggestions down in the comments below, or tag me on Twitter at SeaTacticsYT. And if I like your name for the series enough, then I will take and use it for the series. Just in case you forgot, this series is about me hitting the random button on Crunchyroll and reviewing said anime. It will be once a month, and patrons will be able to get a whole episode 1 month before being made public on YouTube. With that, I'm excited to see what your suggestions for this series name are, and tune in next Monday when the next episode is going to be on Poco's Udon World, and that goes up for free for everyone. Thank you all for supporting me, and before we go, if you enjoyed that video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Comment down below what are your thoughts on Izetta the Last Switch. I'm sure there's someone here who likes this anime. And like I mentioned before, I have a Patreon where on the $1 tier and above, you get access to everything. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.